just knew at that moment I wasn't going to make it. I thought I was going to die. All I remember was him grabbing me, and I just kept saying no, no. But nobody heard me. I just knew I wasn't going to give up like that.
My name is Shakesha Ellis. I am an addiction recovery advocate, and I am the daughter of a presiding elder and minister and mother who was the first lady. I was raised in a strict Christian family home, and I knew that in my early years in 2012 that I was something different and something special. I always had leadership qualities, and so I began teaching the local children from my local community at my house. I began teaching them how to read and write on my back porch. And that is what led me to my leadership, learning what my leadership qualities was. In the early 90s, I became a kindergarten teacher, and I began teaching kindergarten, and I loved it. I loved the reward I got, the reward system that I got from teaching the children in 2000, in the early 2000s. I also entered the mental health field, and I began studying children that were autistic and had different mental illnesses, and I began working in the mental health field. As that time went on, then my early 2000s encountered, and I started modeling, and my modeling years were very fun and rewarding. I was a professional model, print model, successfully for about 3 or 4 or 5 years. I did many magazine covers. My life was wonderful, and I was just living my life. I didn't have any children, and everything was wonderful. I was living a great life. And this was the first part of my life that would begin to change when I was working as a mental health advocate at a school, and I fell. And then that would start the story, and my life would change forever in 2001. I was working at a school with mental health student, and I fell down the steps and I injured my left knee, and it turned into a disastrous situation. At the time of my injury, I fell. I never had any previous addictions. I never had any, I was never one to follow what the crowd was doing. I fell at one of the schools I was working at. And at that point, a doctor told me that I would have to get knee surgery. And I was so scared because I never had knee surgery for anything or any type of different procedures or surgeries where I had to be put under general anesthesia. I was put to sleep on October the 31st of 2001 for my first surgery. And after that surgery, my life changed forever after that. A doctor began prescribing me 150 opioids. The doctor gave me 150 Loracets, which is also known as hydrocodone. I began taking the hydrocodone, and I did not understand anything about opiate abuse or any of the things that come with taking painkillers. You know, at the time that I became addicted, it was not an epidemic situation. I was taking these pills and as prescribed, and I thought that just because they were prescribed, that they were okay for me to take. I never did any research about the medication. I just started taking the painkillers. And time began to go on. My life changed so drastically. At the time that I started taking the painkillers, I wasn't trying to escape anything. I wasn't in a bad relationship. I wasn't trying to self-medicate. I was taking these painkillers as recommended, and my brain loved them immediately. My brain loved how these narcotics made me feel. It made me feel powerful. It made me feel like I could conquer the world and I could do 100 things in one day. We know that there's only 24 hours in one day, but I began to feel like I could conquer the world on these painkillers, and that is where everything turned upside down. I started taking the painkillers, and I began increasing my dosages. I don't know why, but I understand now, as I am studying to be an interventionist, that is all based on your tolerance. It is the fact that the more you need, over time, your body needs to have the same amount to feel normal. This went on for 11 years of my life. My only goal was to take more and more and more. My only goal was to take more and more painkillers. So I began doctor shopping and pharmacy hopping. And I went to pharmacies statewide. I was traveling all the 50 states and just trying to make sure that I had enough painkillers to get through the next moment. It didn't matter to me what was going on around me. My main focus was to have enough painkillers to get through the next moment. If it was a holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the 4th of July, any holiday was a trigger for me. And I felt like I had to be ahead of the game in order to keep up with my addiction and keep up with the painkillers. I didn't realize what situation I was in because of once I didn't have them and my body started to wear down, the withdrawals came in. And that was the most brutal moment and the most brutal time of my addiction was the withdrawals. I didn't understand what I was going through. I didn't have no one to tell me that, hey, Kay, you're going through withdrawal from opiate abuse. I didn't know what I was going through. I just continued to take the painkillers and seek many more doctors and forge prescriptions and add refills to prescriptions and all types of nonsense. I just wanted to keep up with the Joneses. So I just kept on chasing the painkillers. And that went on for 12 years. There was only one time in my life in those 12 years that I tried to reach out and get help. And I went into a program briefly and I failed. I was too sick to make it through and I signed myself out and I realized I couldn't do it anymore. I'm telling you guys, at the end of the day, what you have to realize is that addiction does not discriminate. And we have to understand that it affects a multitude of people and communities and whatever your situation is, whatever community you live in, addiction does not discriminate at all. There are regular people like us every day that are fighting for their lives, but they're trying to survive it. They're trying to survive the addiction. And it is really not a game. It's not nothing to play with. If you are taking opiates for any situation, whether your teenager injured himself on a football team, whether your daughter had a wisdom teeth pulled, whether you were in a car accident, whether you have an autoimmune disease or some type of illness that is medically needed for the painkillers, you have to educate yourself about the opiates and the epidemic and what can happen if you're taking them for a prolonged period of time. I knew I was going to die. I knew I was going to die, you know? I knew I was going to die. I weighed 98 pounds in the height of my addiction, which was in 2006, 2007, and 2008. That was the height of my addiction. I knew I was going to die. I knew I was going to die. I knew I was going to die. So guess what? I had a higher being. And guess what? My higher being was Jesus Christ. Okay? My higher being was Jesus Christ. Everybody will have a higher being to get through something. But guess what? Mine was Jesus Christ. That is what gave me the will to keep fighting and realizing that, hey, Kay, you weigh 98 pounds. You look like you're dying. I can see the bones in your face, the bones in your breast, bones in your chest, and your neck. I know you're going to die. I knew it. I knew I was going to die. So at that moment, on August the 8th, 2010, my life would change forever because guess what? I got the will and the strength and the hope and the faith and the perseverance and the mercy and the grace. All of that came down on me and I got clean cold turkey. Now, I don't recommend that anyone goes cold turkey because you can die like that. It's not recommended. I'm not a medical professional, but I will tell you this. Never ever go cold turkey. Never do it. You can die. But I got through my situation with the higher power that I had, which is Jesus Christ. And I've been clean for 8 years. August the 8th, 2010, my life changed. and I'm living a healthy life of sobriety. I'm taking one day at a time. And I'm just telling you guys, if there was hope for me, there's hope for anyone. Okay? There's hope for you. You gotta want it. You gotta want it. You gotta want it. You gotta want to get clean. You have to feel like you're at your bottom, your rock bottom. You have to feel like you can't go. You can't do it no more. You can't do it. You have to feel like, I know I'm dying. I can't keep going with this. And that is how you will find the light. It's like walking through a dark tunnel and you don't know where your faith is. But at the end, there's a little bit of light. Okay? Faith. Okay? Faith, just a little bit of faith. All you need is faith the size of a mustard seed. Okay? That's all you need. That little bit of faith, the size of a mustard seed. See how tiny that is? That's all you need. That's all you need. That's what I had. That's why I'm alive. That's why I'm here to give you my story. That's why I'm here. So please believe in me, believe in my story, and believe that I'm helping people internationally, locally, within the United States and out of the country. I'm helping so many people and giving so much hope out. Please understand that you have to have that little bit of faith, the size of a mustard seed. That's what'll keep you going. You have to have faith and you have to have hope. Once you lose that, you don't have nothing. Okay? So if you need to reach out to me for further reasons, or if you need help for something, if you have a family member struggling, I'm an interventionist. Okay? This is what I do. Okay? I'm an addiction recovery advocate. I help people get clean all the time. I'm not a medical professional. Let me say this again. I'm not a medical professional, but I can give you experience and advice based upon my own experiences from being in recovery from 8 years. Okay? My site is chasenomore.org. Let me spell it out for you. Chase as in run, because guess what? My chase is over. I was chasing for so many years. I was running, I was fighting, I was chasing, I was running, I was fighting. My site is called chasenomore.org. Let me spell that out for you. C-H-A-S-E, no, N-O, more, M-O-R-E, chasenomore.org at gmail.com. Please understand that I'm here for you. I have hope. I have faith in you. Thank you for listening. My name is Shakesha Ellis, and this is Herstory.